Thanks for watching Your Plates Are Mine, where you don't have to be a professional chef to be a star in your own kitchen. I'm your host, David Miller, and I'd like to invite you to spend a little time with us as we meet some great new friends who are going to show us how to make something incredible you're going to want to make at home. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Your Plates Are Mine. If you're looking for an incredible place to have a fantastic breakfast next Saturday, you gotta come here. I'm at Readyville Mill in Readyville, Tennessee, and they have the best pancakes ever, anywhere. Sorry, Mom, I hate to say it, but it's true. These will knock you out. So let's go meet Nora, Tom, and Margot and learn how to make some incredible breakfast. I'm here with Tom Brady inside Readyville Mill. Tom, thank you so much for having us.
You're very welcome.
Really appreciate it. This is incredible. The mill's what, 200 years old?
200 years old next year.
Next year. And it still works.
It still works. We still grind corn and wheat.
Corn and wheat.
Every Saturday morning.
Every Saturday morning. How did you come about wanting to buy a mill?
Well, a local horseshoer here in Cannon County told me that there were some millstones in the river that he and his son pass in a canoe when they canoe this river. I have collected millstones for 20 years, and I came to Readyville looking for the millstones that were in the river, not knowing there was a mill here.
So this is sort of an offshoot of a hobby.
Yes.
Ah, okay.
I came for the millstones in the river, not knowing there was a mill here. It was this mill closed in the late 70s, and it just was abandoned until 2006 when I bought it.
Right.
And I was in a point in my life where I had retired early from another career. I tried to retire for 18 months. I'm a workaholic. It didn't work out, so this mill was a good fit. Gave me something
a big project.
to do. I needed a big project, and the mill needed somebody to do a big project. So,
what kind of repairs did you have to do?
Oh gosh, the floor that we're standing on, we jacked up 29 inches. We replaced all of the rotted sills. We put this building on steel, so it's structurally sound. There were no windows. I built all the windows. 40% of the siding had rotted away, so I replaced the siding.
This wasn't
painted,
a little paint,
wired, plumbed,
a little paint. This was pretty much
no. This was 5 years of every day, a few boards a day, every day. So
the grain would come from the granary through the chute, I guess, with the auger, and then it would go into that bin, and that strap with the little cups would take it up to the top. It'd go through the cleaning process. Now, is that still in operation?
That is not still in operation.
That is not. All right.
We buy now, because we do not have water power, we're working with the state to remedy that, and it will go through the process with the belts and the hopper. Ah, neat. When and if we get the...
Once you get it completely restored, then you can run the old...
Water power,
right.
Yes. Right now, I purchase organic products, Tennessee grown, from Alfred at Windy Acres Farm on the Kentucky-Tennessee line. And he sends these grains to me already clean.
Oh, okay, so they're ready to go when you get them.
They're ready to go when I get them.
Awesome. Okay, explain to me what this crazy looking apparatus does. It looks almost like a dresser or something.
Inside this case, this is a Meadows mill, and inside this case are two burr stones. One of the one on this side of this cabinet is called a bed stone. It's stationary. The one on this side of the cabinet, which is attached to this belt, is called a runner stone. And when I turn this on, this belt will turn the runner stone.
And the runner stone runs around in a circle.
The runner stone runs at 375 RPMs. And we're going to put this, in this case, white corn.
That's that organic white corn.
This is Tennessee grown organic white corn. We're going to put it in the hopper, and I'm going to turn this wing nut, and that's to allow the corn to go out of the hopper through what's known as a weevil screen. So if there was a weevil, which there's not, but if there were, it would catch it right here and deposit it into this box. Whole kernels of corn fall through this hole, and they go in the round circle that's in the center of each millstone. And so the corn starts in the center of the stone, and as the runner stone spins, it forces the corn to the outside edges of the stone, and it's going to come out
on this side,
this spout right here, onto a screen. And I have a grit screen on here currently so that we can do grits and cornmeal. So this is a small screen that grits will not go through, but cornmeal will. So cornmeal will fall into the first section, grits into the second section, and bran, which is the husk of the corn, will fall into the third section, and we use that for chicken feed.
Okay. Well, folks, that's how they did it 200 years ago, and they're still doing it here at Readyville Mill today. Tom, thanks so much for showing us the mill.
You're very welcome.
And how to grind corn into cornmeal and grits.
And here is white cornmeal. It's very fine, so we call it corn cake meal, and you can take this to Margot in the kitchen, and she will make corn cakes for you.
This is Nora Robinson.
Hey, David.
Thanks for having me in. Now, you are the hostess and self-proclaimed mommy of the mill.
I am. I'm the mouth of the mill.
The mouth of the mill.
That's right. I do most of the promotion of the mill because I'm in love with it. A lot of people think Mr. Brady and I are married, but we say we're not, but the mill is our baby. And so between the two of us, between my gardening and his maintenance and our decorations, both of us collect old things, and we both love all things old.
There's more to the mill than just cornmeal, whole wheat flour. It was also an ice house.
That's correct.
Powerhouse.
Yes.
What all did they do here?
Well, between you and I, there was a little bit of liquid corn in there, I'm sure, too. I don't have
Back in the day.
That's right. I'm sure liquid corn was easier to sell. But this was kind of the Walmart of its day, where all things happened at that period of time, where you would go to get everything. If you had lots of eggs and I had lots of vegetables, you and I might barter.
So this is kind of also like the farmer's market on the weekend.
Absolutely. It was all-encompassing for the community. This was a very important component.
Neat.
You would have a sawmill, you had a blacksmith shop, you had the ice house. And at the turn of the century, in the 1900s, it generated electricity also. Now, on the second floor of the mill, there are huge boxes that were called the bank. And what you did was, if you brought us 1,000 pounds worth of cornmeal, or corn, and we ground it into cornmeal, you're not going to take all that home, so you would bank it here, and once a week your wife would have you swing by the mill and pick up a bag of cornmeal. So it was banked on the second floor. So each floor has its own function. The second floor was the bank, the third floor is the cleaning machines, and of course when you get up to the fourth floor, it's all the cogs and the belts that turn, when these stones turn and the turbine turned, it turned all those straps.
Right. Well, talking about that,
the belts.
The belts.
Yes.
You had mentioned these are called legs.
These are the legs because they ran it up to the fourth floor, which I think is funny. And when Mr. Brady told us that the auger brought the grain over and dumped it into the hopper, it would slide down this little chute, and inside this are straps with about, I'm going to say that's probably about a half a cup, wouldn't you, David? About a half a cup, about every 18 inches. And that strap would move very fast, and it would pick that grain up.
Come down here, turn around here.
Yes.
The little cup would grab it and
take it up to the fourth floor. And it would, when it got to the fourth floor, it would drop it with the gravity, and then it would go down into the third floor where those cleaning machines were, again, shooting out the chaff and the beard into the race and would take it out. I understand that in the day when they were using these, it would go to the fourth floor 25 times before they would grind it in order to clean it.
Wow.
Because in that day, they didn't harvest the same way that we do, and you would get lots of leaves and different things, and so that would necessitate the cleaning process.
Right.
Yes.
Well, Nora, take me outside and show us some more of the buildings and tell us a little bit more about the mill.
Excellent.
Well, obviously this is the mill house behind us.
Yes.
And tell me a little bit about how that was set up.
Well, mills generally sit right on the river. You and I are right here. We could throw a rock in the East Fork of the Stones River. Most people, when they think about a mill, they think about a mill with a large wheel on the side.
The big side wheel.
That's right. Those are overshot wheels where they'll have a flume of water that comes in from the top and then turns that wheel. Ours was an undershot wheel where it would come in under the mill,
under the mill,
and turn it.
Okay.
And so when the mill burned during the Civil War and they rebuilt it, they went to the highest technology of the day, and that was the turbine.
Okay.
So when they put the turbine under, they put it at the same place where the undershot wheel was so that they could still use that race. If we were to look at the Stones River from the sky, it would be a backward sea.
Okay.
And so if it was a backward sea, the slaves dug from behind the dam to divert the water, and it went straight under, of course 70 wasn't there,
Right.
but it went under 70 and came down, turned that turbine, and then what we're looking at right behind us here is probably, I'm going to say 50 feet of what's called the tail of the race.
Okay.
So the chaff and everything would blow out of the chutes at the back of that onto the tail of the race and then be taken into the river.
Into the river.
And the good thing was it was organic. It isn't like we were putting chemicals or anything
You're chumming
in the
up
river.
your catfish right
That's
behind
right. There's good fishing in this river, and that's true. A little fish, and we had the cornmeal to bread it in, so
there you
know
go.
it's a good combination. Right now, though, the one reason this site is so historic and such a lovely place is not only do we have this beautiful mill, we have the granary building and the ice house.
Right, and the granary building now is being used for
a restaurant. Yes, both buildings are connected. Originally they were not, they were individual buildings.
Right.
And the granary building was the warehouse where when you came in, there's a scale when you walk in. But at the time you would weigh your grain and then store it in there, and the expression wait your turn meant your turn at the stone. There's a big hopper at the back of that building where you would put the grain in, and then that auger would take it over to the mill.
Okay.
Because everybody's grain came in at the same time, you might have to wait a while. So what they would do, and all the grain was the same, there was only one kind of corn, one kind of wheat, and they would give you a piece of paper that said David Miller brought in 1,000 pounds. We would keep 250 pounds for the grinding.